guys are so quiet. That's amazing.
Good moment to sit in, church. Where you lead me, Lord. Peace be with you. Well, good morning. My name is Josh. I'm one of the pastors here, and today's message is a little bit different. I'm excited about it. I'm here today with Bethany Johnson, who is our Children's Ministry Director and our Kids Hope Director. So let's welcome Bethany today. We're here to talk about something very near and dear to our hearts and to the heart of this church, and that is kids. Kids is a big part of why Court Street Christian Church even began in 1914. Many, many years ago, 111 years ago. And we have been partnering with an organization called Kids Hope USA. And so we have dedicated this entire Sunday to talk about this ministry because it is so important to what we're doing. So before we begin, though, I just want to ask, Bethany,
Yeah,
how are you today?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm excited.
Good. Did you do anything fun over the weekend?
We had a barbecue yesterday, and we played a game called Stick Wacky. Have you ever heard of that? Sounds made up, doesn't it? I know.
Did David just make that up?
He
just
didn't make
made
it
up
up.
That
It's a
game?
real thing. Anybody else heard of it? Wow.
I
Stick
see that
Wacky?
hand.
Yeah? Okay.
David, Stick
Okay,
Wacky.
Great. So it's just a fun backyard game. I think the Vikings started it, like using bones. We don't use bones. We use wood, but it's a fun game.
So this is like an ancient game.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's great. Fun.
Do you guys have Viking heritage?
Maybe.
You don't
I
know?
have no idea.
Okay, well.
Enough to play the game. So.
Well, I'm glad that you're here today. And I'm so glad for the work that you've been doing this past year. Bethany has done a tremendous job. And I want to just begin by telling a little bit of the story of how Kids Hope ministry started here at Court Street. And for many of you, this is going to be kind of a rehearsal of some information, but also many of you probably have never heard it. And so I want to just rehearse a little bit of this, how it began. So as we begin, though, I want to share a scripture that inspires much of our talk today. This is kind of a centering idea, and it comes from the book of Ecclesiastes. How many of you really love the book of Ecclesiastes? Anybody? All right. Yes, I love the book of Ecclesiastes. I'm excited because next week we're starting a new sermon series that's centered on the three books of wisdom in the Bible, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and the book of Job. Pretty exciting stuff. So this is Ecclesiastes. This says, 2 are better than 1. Ecclesiastes, by the way, is a book of wisdom. 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labor. If either one of them falls up, one can help the other up. Amen? Isn't that a good thing to build your life on? That really inspires this ministry, this idea that we are better together. We're better when we come alongside each other, and we help each other in very practical ways. So if you think about it, there's 2 ways. First of all, we can think about our relationship with God. God's heart is that we would join God in the good work that God is doing in the world. God invites us to say, actually, I don't want to just work alone. I want to work alongside you human beings that I created. And so I'm inviting you to do this together. 2 are better than 1. It comes from the heart of God. God is always at work in the world, working to bring about God's love, goodness, and restoration in our lives and in the life of the world. This is, after all, God's world. God invites us into it. And the second way to think about 2 are better than 1 is that in our relationships with each other, we are not alone. We're called to help each other. And Kids Hope Ministry takes this seriously by calling us to help children through the act of mentorship when they're in school. So, on this journey to find our mission as a church, we begin by asking this question, and I have this on the screen. What might God be doing in our community, and how might we join God in that mission? This is a good thing for you to think about as well. As you think about what is God calling, like we sang that prayer, that song, what is God calling me into? How do I figure that out? Do I just go out, in the middle of the Oregon wilderness and sit on a rock and think, I'm going to get hit by a raindrop someday that's going to just tell me all the answers to what God is calling me to do? No, we do this by observing, by looking around and seeing. And we did this as a church. This is how God began to call us. And it started in 2018. we heard about Kids Hope ministry. Actually, it was a ministry I had been involved with in a church that I was a pastor of in Michigan, believe it or not. And so there was this Kids Hope mentoring ministry, and we were thinking about ways that we could get involved with our local school. And I brought it to the staff and said, what about this? And so we began this conversation with Kids Hope ministry, and we became, our church, the first Kids Hope partnership in the entire state of Oregon, which is pretty awesome. So that started in 2018. Yep. And our first director was Lisa Martin. Wave your hand over there, Lisa. You know Lisa. She's awesome. She got us kicked off and really started off with an amazing, we had over 10 mentors, I believe, at the time. And we were just so excited with Richmond Elementary, which is right here in our community. And we're starting this ministry. And then the pandemic happened. And it was like, wah, wah. And it was tough. It was tough to have a ministry that partnered with a local school when the schools weren't meeting together, and we didn't really know how it was going to happen, what was going to happen. We had a lot of changes here at the church. We had a couple of pastoral changes as well. And so fast forward to 2023. We still had Kids Hope partnership. We were down to one active mentor at the time. We had lost our director. I was trying to keep it alive, like, CPR, by just staying in touch with the principal there. And they said, we were really interested in continuing this program, but we don't really know what to do. And so we didn't have a director. We just started praying about it and wondering, God, what are you doing in the world? And how can we partner with you? How can we have this mission? So unbeknownst to us, there was the Salem-Keizer School District was having conversations with another leadership organization in our city called Salem Leadership Foundation. They had heard about what we were doing with Kids Hope USA. And they were wondering, well, maybe we could broaden this to other schools in our city. And by the way, Bethany's going to tell you all about what Kids Hope is. But I'm just telling you the story of how this happened. You still with me? Everybody with me? All right, so we didn't know that this was happening. We didn't know that these conversations were happening about us. And Salem Leadership Foundation came to us and said, hey, can you tell us a little bit more about how your program is going? And we're like, it's not going that great. To be honest, we have all these struggles. How can we help? How can we help? Well, we need a new director. And we don't know how to pay them, to be quite frankly, to be frank. And they said, okay, well, maybe we can help you with that. So they gave us a grant that helped pay for 75% of our director's salary for the first year, and then 50% the next year and 25% the next. They helped us get it started. And so we were excited about this. We started looking around for someone who could fill that role and then also help out with children's ministry. And we met with this guy named David Johnson over here, and he interviewed for the job, and he listened to the job, and he said, you know who would be great for this? My wife. That's what every good husband does, volunteers their wife, right? So we met Bethany. We were like, this is amazing. This is really cool. Look what God's doing. We don't really know what our goals are, but Bethany was like, this sounds exciting to me. And so she came and joined our staff as those two positions. We had a little goal to, well, first of all, I'm going to get to that in a minute. First, I want to go to you, Bethany. Let's back up just a little bit and ask you this question. What is Kids Hope Ministry? What is Kids Hope USA?
All of this amazing, it's like the part that comes before the
Yeah.
title of the movie. And yes, so Kids Hope is this amazing nonprofit. Their vision statement is that we believe that kids matter to Jesus, and that the local church is uniquely called to care for the children in our community, and students need caring and consistent adults in their lives to help them thrive. The way that shows up, hitting the pavement or on the day-to-day, is that Kids Hope is a partnership of mentorship with mentees at We Work with Richmond. So it is caring adults hanging out with kids for an hour a week. So they play games, they read, they play basketball. So it is a really wonderful opportunity for kids in our community to receive just life-giving 60 minutes of their time throughout the week. And it's a blast.
So one of the things that Kids Hope USA is it's an overarching organization that really helps churches and schools work together well.
Yeah.
And we've been really impressed. Bethany, what have you
So
been
impressed.
impressed by them as an organization?
So Kids Hope does a really amazing job at training. I've been in education for almost 20 years, and the level of quality training for me as the director, for our mentors, is probably the best I've ever gotten. No offense to the districts I've worked for before, but it's been really, really incredible and really sets up the communication between school and church and the teachers and me, the director, and the mentors. There's also a prayer partner aspect, and so that really sets up success long-term just with the systems and the structure they have.
So we had this goal. We're like, okay, if we could launch this program with 5 mentors, that'd be awesome. That would really be a success. And how did we do?
We had 11 by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Amazing.
11.
11 mentors. Yep. 11 kids getting loving adult attention once a week.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
And you can really see their faces light up when their mentor shows up. It makes a big difference in the life of a kid. Sometimes in our house, our kids are like, "You don't even spend an hour with me." It's a really powerful thing just to spend a consistent hour focused on that one child. So what are some other things that we can celebrate from this past year, Bethany?
I mean, it wasn't just 11 warm bodies. The mentors that we had this year were so consistent, and so they were an amazing team for me to lead. If you've been in ministry or you've been working with human beings, a really big thing is just showing up in a relationship, and that is absolutely what these mentors did this year. Is they showed up consistently, and what we're going to talk about a little. It was not always easy. It was not always. You're a little bit signing up for heartache, right? You're a little bit signing up for something that can be really challenging as a prayer partner, as a mentor. And this year, we saw just amazing, consistent, loving people who moved their way through the really amazing, like when you show up and the kid's face lights up and they want to play Connect 4, you teach them how to put together a puzzle, and then the times when it's heartbreaking and they can't meet with you because they had a rough week or they got in trouble and the lesson that you had just taught them didn't work. All of that was really incredible. Yeah.
So there's 2 different people you're kind of talking about. There's a mentor, and then there's a prayer partner.
Yep.
So each student is assigned those 2 people. But the prayer partner doesn't necessarily meet with the student ever.
No. The prayer partners
What's their role? Exactly?
They are communicating with the mentors. They are praying over their time, their specific time together. They're praying over needs communicated in a confidential way for whatever those mentors, and they're just covering the time. And when I came to Kids Hope, I was like, oh, prayer partners, okay, way to go. That's a good idea, I guess. But it really does make an amazing difference to have that component. And we're going to talk about this, but that connection opportunity that happens, we absolutely love the chance to serve Richmond. But the thing that I get to watch is the way that Kids Hope connects you guys to each other and to God as a part of this community of the church, which is bonus.
I love that. Well, we could talk about it all day, but we're going to invite 2 of our friends to come up. One of our mentors and one of our prayer partners to come up right now. Crystal and Kathy, why don't you guys come on up, wherever you may be. And we have an extra microphone here.
While they're coming up, you're going to see like this much and hear this much of the stories that are represented by the ministry that's happening in Kids Hope this year. Many of the mentors or team, they are wearing these t-shirts. Highly recommend. Hey, can I take you out to lunch? Hear these stories of the ways that these amazing human beings are just pouring their hearts into these kids. There's some good stories coming, but I'm telling you, like 5% is being represented here, and there's gold in them hills. I recommend seeking out the rest of the stories. So these are my dear and incredible friends. This is Kathy and Crystal. And Crystal was one of our mentors this last school year, and Kathy was her prayer partner. So like we sort of talked about, Kids Hope has that by design, that there is a mentor that does the going to Richmond and meeting for an hour with a kiddo. K through 5th grade is our current. We do have some middle schoolers that, but so Crystal is the feet on the pavement, meeting with the kiddos, and Kathy is the prayer partner behind, and it's, again, this is like 5% of lots of good stories, but Crystal, can you share with us something that you observed or that you watched God really showing up for your mentee this past school year?
I missed the memo on the shirt, so you'll just have to find
But
me.
isn't her dress adorable? It's fabulous.
So for me, I had 2 different experiences. I was able to work with 2 different mentees. And my first experience was amazing. Me and my gal, she was 5th grade little girl, we connected immediately. I was able to bring the right games. I knew the right books, the right stories. Like, it didn't matter. Like, she was really good. She loved art. I love art. Like, I could borrow anything, and me and her got along. We were great gravy. She was able to tell me things about her life and her story pretty easily, and we connected amazing. And it was great to relay back to Kathy as well. And then something happened. She left the school. It was really fast and no notice for me or her. I didn't get to say goodbye. There was some heartbreak for me in that, and I think for Kathy as well. And then I got a new kiddo. Well, he wasn't as easy. No game I brought connected us. And I still, at the end of the year, could not find the thing that he enjoyed playing or that really got him connected. And I felt frustrated almost every week of like, oh, what can I bring this time? And that will really, I will feel like we have connected. But through all of those trials and through those things, I learned that connection looks different for each child. And he didn't need a game or an activity to connect with me. He just started to open up, and I would learn bits of his story at a time. Just, he would have a hard day. I would ask him, what's going on? And just little bits, he would feel safe to share with me. And those were big, big things that he was carrying. He was carrying a lot. And through that, we were able to pray. And I learned that connection is not always easy, but it's important. That consistency, that showing up really does matter. Not necessarily the game you're playing.
Yeah, so huge. Yep, absolutely. And that is God showing up for Crystal in that process, for that kiddo. Yeah, huge. And it was really impactful for me as the director to kind of walk alongside Crystal and see Crystal leaning into her relationship with God and just showing Jesus in an amazing way to those kids and to the school as a whole. Kathy, would you share a little bit about... again, highly recommend take this lady out to lunch because we are really restricting this amount of story. There's so much more story here. But I am the children's ministry director, and those volunteers, you need to pick up your kids, when church is over. So we're gonna just give you a sample, but highly recommend take this lady lunch. Okay, but not this week because there's a lunch after. Anyway, Kathy. Can you tell me what this relationship, this mentorship did for you and Crystal and to help you feel connected to the church and to each other?
Well, I will say I thought this would be really easy, and it was a challenge. You have, as a prayer partner, somebody with no name, no face, not really knowing what their story is. And God had to teach and lead me how to pray. It was easy to pray for Crystal because she's communicating with me, but this child, it was hard. But through this, I learned with Crystal, this is an amazing woman. I'm getting emotional.
Means it matters.
This program does something for everyone. It's centered around the kids, but I saw how God worked through Crystal in situations that I was like, I wouldn't know what to do. I don't know that I would know how to handle that. And maybe Crystal didn't either, but I saw God working through her to meet these little ones right where they need it. And I'm sure this last little boy will never forget the last day Crystal spent with him. Because without words, without games, without anything else, I think she met his needs. God was there cuddling this little boy. Anyway, it developed a relationship with Crystal and myself that I'm just going to say, there's those little sayings out there that say first impressions. I'm going to say that's the biggest false lie ever out there. You have to dive into a person. You have to give them a little bit of time and really get to know who they are. This woman has so much to give. She is amazing. Her spirit, her gentleness. She knows how to communicate with people, and I believe that's God-given. And I don't think that you need to have these skills. I think when your heart is there, God just does it for you. He just speaks through you. He knows where you need to be, what you need to do, what words need to come out. And Crystal was really great at when she got done with her hour. Well, I should back up. She would always let me know, send me a little text saying, getting ready to go in. I'd respond, and there I was with her. When she got done, she would send me just a little bit about what happened that day. And I, this last week, read through our text, and I'm thinking some of the responses I gave to Crystal, I'm like, where did that come from? Because that's not me. That was God telling her everything was okay. Yeah. And speaking to her. I wouldn't have traded this time for anything. It was amazing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Talking too much?
No, it was perfect. That was perfect. I love it. Amazing. Okay, so as you can tell, I'm sure this is a really special piece. And this is part of why Kids Hope is a big part of our ministry here at Court Street, why it really matters to us. Not only because I get to represent us at Richmond and communicate God's love to those kids, but that there's connection happening with each other. And that's a huge part of what we care about here at Court Street. Together is a really big part of what we care about. So hopefully you guys are all like, I love it. I can't wait to hear what I can do next. Don't worry. Okay, so here's a couple of next steps. Moving forward with Kids Hope, we are starting a new school year. So there's quite a few different ways that you can be connected with Kids Hope and the next steps. So obviously, there is a mentorship that can happen. You can, if you have an hour during the week to meet with a kindergarten through fifth grader, you can absolutely be a mentor. Our opportunity with Richmond this year, as our second year going into time there, we have established consistency. They trust us more. I'm already getting more emails from them saying, Bethany, can you help with this? Can Court Street help with this? And it's my favorite yes of the day when I get to respond to those emails saying, yes, we absolutely can. So obviously there's Kids Hope Mentoring and Prayer Partner. If that's something you want to know more about, the aforementioned lunch, there is an informational lunch meeting happening directly after this meeting. If you have questions, if you want to know more about specifically working as part of the team for Kids Hope as we build into this new year at Richmond. There is also opportunities to, if you're like, I sure wish I could, but I can't be that. I can't be a prayer partner or I can't be a mentor. We will be doing several events throughout the year on campus and serving Richmond that I would absolutely welcome support at. Like what, Bethany? Well, let me tell you. This is going to be a great test for the elementary schoolers. Guys, what's happening on the 21st of September? Do you guys know? Yeah, the carnival. We have a back-to-school carnival. We are specifically inviting Richmond Elementary and the neighborhood kids and any of the kids that you know. This is very much an outreach-focused event. God bless you when you walk in on that Sunday morning because there's going to be a lot happening. It happens directly after the service from 11:15 to 1. We're going to have a SWAT truck here. There's going to be cotton candy. If you're like, I can't serve every week, but I absolutely can help kids toss a ring or make sure kids don't bash their heads together in a bounce house, I would love your help on that. We also are going to be doing a trunk or treat this year. If you would like to decorate the trunk of your car on Halloween and have kids from the neighborhood. So outreach and connection on an occasion basis, occasionally. That is absolutely something that I would like to invite you into. Again, not just to make Bethany's job easier, but because the connection like this and the connection between us and God absolutely happens around this kind of service.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Thank you, Bethany. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Crystal, for being here today. Yes, you can take those with you if you want. Whew. Man, that was a lot of information, wasn't it? You on overload yet? I'd like to invite the band up at this time. We're going to participate in communion together as a church community as we close our service today. And as we think about that, I think about a lot of the things that Bethany was saying about finding our place in the world, making an impact for Jesus Christ here. This is one of the ways that you can do that here at Court Street. And if you have been inspired today to say, maybe I can be a prayer partner, maybe I can be a mentor, maybe I can help out with some other things as well just to support the program, we'd love to talk to you about that today. Because really, that's framed, all of that, Bethany used a word, outreach. And that's a word that Christians have often used to say, hey, we have a message of Jesus' love for us, and we want to share it with other people. That's really all it means. That we have a story to tell. And the story that we tell is the story of Jesus. The story of Jesus is simply that God loved us enough to come and be one of us, to live in our shoes, kind of like a mentor does, shows up at school on a consistent basis and lives in the shoes of someone who has some needs. Actually, I've been a mentor as well. And let me tell you, as much as you think you're giving to someone, you're also receiving as well. They have a lot to give to us as well. And this is what Christ did for us. Christ showed up in our lives, and gave us a new way of seeing the world, a new way of being in the world, and in that we are being saved, just like John 3:16 says. And then the verse right after John 3:16 is probably my favorite, because God didn't come to condemn the world. God came to save the world through God's love. And this time of communion is a time to celebrate that as well. So I invite you, church, as we think about what is God calling us into this new year, this new school year, as we wonder about that, and as you wonder about that, and as you're praying about that with the Spirit of God in your own life, I invite you to take this time of reflection during communion and reflect on how God's love has been met in your own life. I'm glad that we're together today. Let's all stand and take communion together.
Jesus, oh, how sweet it is to trust in you, Jesus. Oh, how sweet it is to trust in you, Jesus.
Amen. Let's all stand together as we're dismissed today. I wish you all the grace and the peace of our Lord Jesus Christ. As you go out into the world and serve the world this week, may you sense the Spirit of God close with you. God bless you. Have a great day, everybody. It's good to be together today.